We ready?
I'm excited because I've been trying to work with you for a
I
long time.
know.
It's been a long time
I
coming, but
know.
it's finally here, and it's a beautiful morning, and I'm happy about it.
Yes.
So, how are you today?
I am great. It's really early,
Hmm.
but I'm good. How are
Okay,
you?
I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine. Like I said, this is a milestone for me because I've been trying to work with you for the
I
longest.
know.
But it finally came, and ladies and gentlemen, I am here with Beat by Queet, fantastic makeup artist, and
Oh, thank you.
I always like your work. I always like your
Thank
work.
you.
All right, so tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Chiquita Campbell, and I reside in Lake Butler. I've been doing makeup for a few years now, and I am 30 years old. My regular job is I work in banking, but my passion is doing makeup. Yep.
So you still reside in Lake Butler. You're from
Yep.
Lake Butler.
I'm from Lake Butler.
Okay.
Well, I was born in St. Louis, Missouri, but I grew up in Lake Butler.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So how long were you in Missouri?
When I was a baby, my,
Okay.
my dad was in the military, so yeah, we moved around and came back to Lake Butler.
Okay.
Yep.
How was it growing up in Lake Butler?
Um, it was okay. I mean, it's a small town. It's a pretty safe town. I mean, everybody knows everyone. Everybody knows my brother, so they know me. They know my family, so it was pretty good growing up. No real complaints.
Never wanted to leave?
I did leave for a little bit. I went to Orlando back in 2005. I just wanted to try something different, but then I got homesick, so I moved back.
Mm-hmm. Why
Yep.
Orlando? What was the...
I have a lot of family in Orlando, and so I
Mm-hmm.
moved with my cousin, and yeah, it was a good experience. But I got homesick, so I moved to Gainesville for a little bit, and then back to Lake Butler.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So this is gonna be the final place for you, or that you see for now?
For now, at
Mm-hmm.
least until my daughter finishes school, because we do have a great school system here. So I have a few more years, and then I'll figure out what I want to do next.
Okay.
Yep.
Have you seen any change in Lake Butler from when you grew up to now?
Um, it's pretty much the same. It's still a small town. Everyone knows everyone. Um, yeah, it's pretty much the same. Nothing has really changed. We did get a Subway.
I heard y'all about to get a
We
McDonald's.
about to get a McDonald's, so that's pretty exciting. But nothing has really changed, and I don't know if that's good or bad, but it's a great place to raise your kids. So I only have one daughter, and she loves it here. So yeah.
Okay. So single mother.
Single mother,
Mm-hmm.
yes. My daughter is 12. Her name is Natalie. She's an aspiring makeup artist herself. So, yeah.
How's that journey been for you as a single mother?
It's been hard,
Mm-hmm.
but it's been rewarding. I never saw myself having kids. I never wanted kids. When I got pregnant with her, I was like, okay, this is it. God is trying to slow me down. Not that I had a wild life, but I knew I just needed to settle down a little bit. So she's been awesome. She's my best friend, and we've been through a lot together. And so my main focus is her, just taking care of her, making sure she has the best life, a better life than I had. So yeah, it's been wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What would you say have been your biggest reward so far?
Just seeing her grow, become a young lady. Um, it's just crazy because it seems like yesterday she was just a little baby and she was so cute and so small, and now she's like a preteen and like TikTok and talking about boys and school and this and that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like she's about to be a teenager in a few months. So it's been really rewarding to see her grow up.
How do you feel about that boys
Oh
conversation?
my God. I stress about it every day. But it's a part of life. I was the same way. So, just give them the tools and, just pray that she makes the right decisions. So, yeah.
What's the biggest thing you learned about yourself during motherhood?
Oof. I didn't think I was this strong.
Hmm.
Like, it takes a lot to be a mother, to be a great mother. Anybody can be a mother, but to be a great mom, it takes a lot. So, I didn't think I would just click and have that motherly instinct. But I mean, as soon as she was here, I was like, okay, I got to do this. I got to do this. I got to save money. I'm already thinking about buying her first car. Like, yeah, I didn't think I would be that person.
Hmm.
But it's been awesome.
How did it
Yeah.
feel when it clicked on? And like, did you notice it, or was it just like, oh, like how does that feel? Explain that feeling to me.
Like, first becoming a mom,
Like that motherly instinct when it kick in.
it's kind of like, oh my gosh, like I read books, I've
Hmm.
heard stories, like everything. But it's just, you don't know until you're in that moment, like, oh my gosh, I have to do this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, your world just stops and you have to, make that decision right then. So it's scary because you don't want to make the wrong decision, but then again, it's what you have to do. So it just kind of clicks. Some women don't have it, but I'm so blessed that I had that motherly instinct. Yeah.
Now I see a lot. You say she's your best friend. I do see a lot that you motivate her a lot. And how is that like? Where did you get that from?
I don't know. I see people online and just people around town that don't do a lot with their kids. And I never wanted to be that person. I know when I was growing up, we traveled a lot, and I wanted to pass that on to her. So whenever, I go on trips, I make sure I include her. Like, we're going on a trip in 2 weeks. Don't tell her because it's a surprise.
Okay.
A pretty big trip. So I just wanted her to experience the world. Like, I don't want her to be just stuck in Lake Butler. I want her to see, different states, different countries. I'm already planning a trip to Paris in 3.5 years, so I'm saving for that. So me and her can go to Paris for my 40th birthday. So, yeah, it's just all about life experiences.
Like, does she ask you a lot of questions about your life? Because I know my kids ask me some questions, and some of them I don't want to answer, but it comes to a time where I say, okay, I'd rather you get this from me than anybody else. Like, what are some of those questions?
She doesn't ask a lot of questions. Sometimes she'll be like, oh, what was the best experience of your life? Or what was the happiest, I'm just like, where did that come from? So I was like, having you was the best experience of my life. Or, she hasn't gotten too deep yet, which I'm glad about, because some of the stuff I know she's going to ask, I'm not going to be prepared for. So, yeah, she don't ask too many deep questions, but I try to think ahead of time, like, okay, what if she asked me about, like, that? I'm gonna be that. So I'm gonna be like, oh, okay, let me just think about that. But it hasn't come to that point yet.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you are actually preparing, because I had that conversation and it was quite early, and it wasn't because they asked, it was because something that they saw on TV. So I was forced to kind of go into that. But I'm glad I did, because I'd rather them get it from me than anyone else. Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, so what you do in life, like, where do you get some inspiration? Where do you get inspiration for life?
I guess the women in my family give me a lot of inspiration. My grandmother, she is 80, I believe she's 82 now. So I get a lot of inspiration from her. I remember her telling me when I was growing up, no matter where you go, always look your best. Like, she told her grandkids that always look your best. So I get a lot of inspiration from her, my mom. I don't get a lot of inspiration from YouTube. I know a lot of makeup artists, they go to YouTube, and I don't really watch YouTube. Like, I like to learn stuff on my own. So yeah, that would be it.
That's good. And you still got your grandma. That's a big thing.
It's a blessing.
Like, people don't understand how big that is. That's huge.
She's amazing.
What is something else that you learned from your grandma, like life lessons?
I didn't really learn how to cook she's a great cook, but I didn't really pay attention to to that part. But her motto is love God and love people, and you will continue to be blessed. That's her thing. Love God, love people. So I try to keep that motto, because when you have those two things, you will be blessed. You will be prosperous. So that's probably the biggest thing I've learned from her. And family. Family is important. Family matters. So yeah, that's what I've learned from her.
Okay. What have been have you had any setbacks in life that made you readjust and just think differently?
Not really. I wouldn't consider my daughter a setback, but it did hold me, I wouldn't say hold me back, but I had plans to go into school and stuff like, not that I couldn't, but I knew I had to kind of adjust things and focus on her. I couldn't really focus on me as much. But now she's getting older, I'm thinking about going back to school. But I haven't really had any setbacks. I've been really blessed, so I cannot complain.
That's good.
Yeah.
So you said going back to school, you have any school experience?
I have a little bit of school. I did go to Santa Fe for a little bit, but this was when she was really young and I was working, so it was just a little bit too much for me to handle at that time. But maybe when COVID is over with, then I will go back to school and pursue a degree in business management.
For some reason, I always thought you went to a HBCU.
Really? I mean, I love HBCUs now. FAMU.
Where did that love for HBCU come from?
Oh my gosh, my mom, she is all about the culture. And my brother Patrick, he went to Florida A&M when he was in college. So I've always had a love for HBCUs, about the culture and Black Lives Matter. My mom, she instilled that into us at a very young age. So I got it from her.
Yeah, I see that. And you loud and you proud about it.
I'm loud and proud. Yes, I am.
So, all this stuff that's been going on in the news, like, I tell people, like, we still fighting the same fight.
Yes.
Give me your perspective on some of that.
Oh my gosh, it's been a struggle, and I thank God for people recording these police brutalities, because back then we didn't have camera phones, so it's a lot more names that we need to say that we couldn't, see what really happened. So we just got to keep fighting and keep marching and keep protesting. I don't know if it'll ever change, because there's so much hate in the world, so much racism. But we can't back down. We got to keep fighting every day. As a matter of fact, I'm trying to go to a protest today after my clients in Gainesville. So, yeah.
So you've been to a lot of the protests?
Yes.
I went to, I think it was one about George Floyd, I believe. But I don't find them until it's too late. So
yeah,
I might need you to tag me in something.
I will tag you. Yep.
So, like, I knew that these killings have been real, but I think the George Floyd one really pushed it for me. So, like, where were you that day, like, when you found out? Where were you when you found out about that?
Oh my gosh, I was, I think I was home. I might have been at work, I'm not sure. But when I saw the video, I cried. I couldn't believe that happened. I mean, because it was in broad daylight. The cops did not even care about this man. It's like, and people like to bring up his past, his criminal past, and what he did. And he had I guess a fraudulent $20 bill or something like that. That's nothing. I work in banking too. I mean, that's nothing for you to kill a person over that. It was just ridiculous. But I think the biggest thing is Breonna Taylor, because that could have been me. Laying in bed, sleep, and then they just come in and kill her. Like, it makes no sense. It could have been me. It could have been my cousin. It could have been my mom. And for the cops to get off, I'm just like, I've been hurt ever since that day. Yeah,
that hurt my stomach too. And a lot of, like, so when I'm on social media, I have a lot of white friends, right? And sometimes I think that they speak, but they don't understand how we feel.
Yeah.
So a lot of people say, I'm deleting this person, I delete this person. I think one thing that I've learned to do now is take those conversations and have them. There's one guy I went to school with, and he posted something, and I responded to him. Now, I didn't respond on live. I just talked to him through Messenger.
Yeah.
And we had a discussion. So do you think that it's good to have these conversations?
It is, if they're willing to listen and understand, because I have a lot of white friends. Everybody know Queet have a lot of white friends. I love my people. But I've had to delete a few because it took a toll on my mental. You know what I mean? Like, whew, yeah. Because they want to go back and forth, and they think, oh, well, we grew up together. I didn't think you were. I'm like, I've always been loud and proud and black and proud. You know what I mean? Like, I was instilled into me that, be black and proud. Like, I may not have been as vocal in high school, but now that I'm an adult, like, I'm very vocal about it. So, sometimes my white friends, they'll text me and be like, I'm so sorry this is going, they don't really post on social media that much, but I'm so sorry you're going through this. Let me know if you need me, like, if you just want to talk about it. So I think it's good to have those conversations with them, but they have to understand that racism does exist, and we are still struggling, and we may not say it. Like, sometimes I have to bite my tongue at work because I don't want to seem like the angry black woman, but it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah, it's hard for me to find that balance of when and when not to say, because it's like so much that we have to think about, like, we're going to be portrayed this way if I say this, and that's a struggle in itself.
It really is.
That's a whole struggle. So it's like, these things I really been fortunate to have conversations with some of my white friends, and they're able to understand.
Yeah, I'm actually going out with one of my white friends. He's always going to protest. Shout out to Joe Tier. We're going out to dinner next month. He said, I just want to have a conversation with you, just, to see where you're coming from and, see how you feel. Like, he was like, I know it's a struggle. I'm fighting with y'all. So some of them want to have dinner and just sit down and just let me talk and see where I'm coming from. So, yeah.
That's big, and I commend those people who are willing to listen.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, so that's enough for the heavy stuff. So let's talk about your passion for makeup, and where did you get that start?
It started, actually, when I moved to Orlando, it started, and that was 15 years ago, because my mom was super strict when I was growing up, so she wouldn't let me wear makeup until 12th grade. So I wore it a little bit then, but I can remember when it first started. I was walking through Millennium Mall, and I saw some women doing makeup at the MAC counter. I was like, hey, if they can do that, I can do that. And back then, it was like no YouTube. Like, you couldn't go to something and go to YouTube and learn how to do it. You just had to figure it out on your own. So I kind of played around with it. I was so bad. Like, I was terrible. I didn't know what to pick. I didn't know about foundation. I didn't know about shades. I didn't know about anything, but I just practiced at it and just kept going with it. And I would quit, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm doing, and I'll start back over. So I've really been going hard for the past few years doing makeup.
So how has it changed you? Like, you said that your mom wouldn't let you wear makeup. Like, how did that affect you? Let me ask that question.
I mean, I've always been an artist. Like, whether it was painting or creating bracelets or making t-shirts, I've always been artist minded. So when she was like, you can't do, I was like, please, I just want to do makeup. So when I finally got free, I was like, okay, I'm putting all the colors on my eyes. You know what I mean? I remember my first eyeshadow was this hot pink color, and I would wear that thing like all the time. So yeah, that's how it affected me. I just went crazy when I could finally wear makeup. Yeah.
Do you remember your first client?
I don't. I think maybe my cousin Alicia was my first client because we lived together in Orlando. I think she was probably my first client, but my first paying client, I'm not sure because it was so long ago. But I remember my first wedding I did. I was, oh my gosh, I was so bad, and I think I only charged them like $10 a face. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And they didn't even want to pay me that, and I was like, okay. Yeah. So it has definitely changed.
So how did you develop into your style? Like, what developed your style?
I think, I don't know how I developed it, but I think I'm more of a natural face makeup artist. I know some people, they do all the contouring and the highlighting and the this and the that. I don't do all that, and I think that's why people come to me, is because they want more of a natural look sometimes. So I just kind of stuck with it. Yeah.
No, that's what my wife said.
Yeah.
She said when she see your work, she's like, it looks natural. So can you do the contour?
I can. I haven't. Yeah, contouring. I haven't perfected that craft. I know how to do it a little bit, but that's not my forte. So I'm okay with telling clients, hey, I don't know how to do all of that, or like a wing line, I'm not good at that. So yeah, I'm more of a natural makeup artist.
Now, last year, I got mad. I got mad because I read one of your posts. And you couldn't do makeup for a while.
Yeah.
You want to talk about that?
I would rather not talk about that. But yeah, I had to stop it for a little bit. But
so you back on track now?
I'm back on track. COVID, didn't help the situation because, because of COVID. But I'm back on track. I do have a wedding lined up next month. So yeah, I have some clients today, so I'm super excited about that. But I'm back on.
So how did you bounce back from that event? We don't have to talk about that, but how did you bounce back? How did you get your mental in order?
I had to find my passion again because I kind of fell off a little bit. When you go through life situations or just life in general, it can kind of hold you back. But I had to find my passion for makeup again, and I found it, and yeah, so I'm back in love with it.
Well, what were some of those steps? Because I fell out of love with videography, and I know that feeling. Like, you love something so much, then you fall out of love with it. How did
Yeah.
that affect you? How did you feel about it?
Um, I don't know. It was hard because I was just like, I've been doing makeup for so long, but I think disappointment with clients or business in general, because I can go a month without having clients, and then like the next weekend I can have 10 clients. So, and then lack of support can kind of deter you a little bit. But now I'm just like, okay, I don't care if I don't have support from my family and friends. It's other people who I don't even know support me. So, yeah.
That's one thing I learned. Like, your support not gonna come from your circle, and I don't understand that. I never understand it. It's always a stranger
Yeah.
or somebody far off,
Yep.
that supports you.
Definitely.
How did you? What made you realize that, or made you notice it?
Well, I would support my family and friends all the time, buy their products, share their posts, do it, and then I wasn't seeing it reciprocated, and so I'm just like, okay, like when are they gonna support me? And not just me, but my daughter has businesses with paintings and earrings, and she's always doing something, and they weren't buying the stuff, but I was buying their stuff, and so I was like, you know what, I'm not even gonna worry about them, and then somebody hit me up out of the blue, I don't even know, never met this person, was like, hey, can you do my wedding? I'm like, yeah, like I've never talked to this person ever, but my biggest support is from people. It's like word of mouth from somebody I don't even know. So, you can't worry about your family or friends if they don't support you. You have to be about who makes you happy, who's going to support you, who's going to be paying your bills. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So how is it doing weddings? Like, how can you, like, from when you first started to now, is it easier? Is it?
It's a little bit easier because I understand the process. I know how far in advance I have to prepare myself. Like before, I would just try to rush and prepare myself the night before, and that was super stressful because I rush home from work and try to clean my brushes, pack, my bags and stuff. But now I try to prepare like a week before and set my stuff up, make sure I have everything, put stuff in the car the night before, or 2 nights before, and I just know what to expect from brides or the photographer. But every wedding is different. Every bride is different. So you just gotta kind of mentally prepare yourself.
Have you ran into a Bridezilla yet?
What?
How do you handle that?
Oh my gosh. I just try to think to myself, this is their day. I'm getting paid. And they've already signed the contract.
Okay.
So I've had a bunch of Bridezillas. All I do is put on my AirPods and I listen to music because they can really get under your skin. But I'm like, you've already signed this contract. You've already paid me. So whatever you say after this, it's whatever. But I try to please I try my best to please every bride, to make them happy because I know they're stressed out. I know if they had stuff happen and whatever, so I can understand, why they feel how they feel, whatever, but I try to have conversations before the wedding, like, hey, how you doing? Like, sometimes I bring wine just to calm them down. So, yeah.
Now you said contracts. When did you learn that skill, or that's something you always did?
No.
How did you learn about that, and what made you say, I got to put stuff in paper?
Oh my gosh, I didn't know anything about contracts or deposits, payments, like any of that when I first started. Like it literally was a trial and error thing. But I had a client in Indiana, my stepsister Corinne, she taught me about contracts, and she actually sent me like a template of a contract. She was like, this is what you need to use. You have your business name on top, and this is how it's going to be broken down. And that was maybe, I would say like 7 or 8 years ago. So she taught me about that. It's been revised since then. So that's how it kind of got started. But yeah, at first I didn't know anything about contracts. So it's been a learning experience.
What's the biggest lesson that you learned? Like, it could be with business or dealing with people. What's the biggest thing that you learned that a lot of people might not know that you could share that information, like, for the next person?
Don't second guess yourself. Go with your gut feeling. Whenever I have a bride, I try to do a trial run. Some of them don't want it, but it's good to have those trial runs beforehand because the day of, they're so all over the place mentally. You want to make sure you execute the look that they want. always make them happy. Ask them, okay, is this okay? Is that, whatever. It's all about making them happy. But do not let them run you over.
Mm-hmm.
That's the biggest thing. Do not let them run you over. Because you can get frustrated and be like, you know what, I'm not going to do this. And I've done that plenty of times, like, hey, I'm done with makeup. I'm tired of how they talk to me and, how they treat me. But if it's your passion, then you'll press through it.
Okay. So, give somebody, like, my wife always tell me this, I don't wear makeup, so I don't know.
Right, yeah.
Do you do skincare as well, or just, what's some things that you see, that other people they may be lacking on,
Yeah.
just give a gem for somebody.
Moisturize your face. Sometimes I forget to do it, but then the next morning I feel it. I'm like, oh my gosh, my face is so dry. But every day you need to moisturize your face. Don't forget that. Now, actually, I learned that from Wendy Williams, believe it or not. She was like, no matter what, you got to moisturize your face because it'll help your skin look young and all that. So definitely moisturize your face. I don't do a lot of skincare because I have sensitive skin, but it is important to keep your skin up and take care of your skin.
Okay.
Yep.
So where do you see yourself going from here?
I'm not sure. I've always wanted to open up like a salon with skincare, makeup, waxing, stuff like that. I'm not sure if that's gonna happen. I'm getting a little bit older, so I'm not sure. And then COVID definitely has changed a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to think differently now. But yeah, maybe that'll happen. I have my own salon, Beat by Queet salon.
That name, Beat by Queet, how did you come up with that?
I'm trying to think who came up with it. I think my friend Darren came up with that name because I used to be Triple C Beauty because my initials are CCC. But it was too long, so I was like, man, I got to change this name. So I think my friend Darren was like, why don't everybody call you Queet? Hello, Queet. So go with Beat by Queet. And I was like, you know what? That's a ring to it. So, yep, Beat by Queet it kind of stuck.
Okay.
Yep. So.
All right. So before we get out of here, you have any motivational words, anything you live by?
Be true to you. Self-care is the best care. That's my thing. That's what I'm learning this year. Like, you have to take care of yourself because if you don't, and you're so busy taking care of other people, your kids, your family, your work, it's going to wear you out. So self-care is the best care. Take care of yourself. Take that time out for yourself. Whether it's therapy, going to get your nails done, a girl's day, you got to take care of yourself first. So I try to live by that.
All right. So you have any last words before we go?
Book your girl. You can find me on Instagram, Beat by Queet. And that's about it. Yeah.
So I want to say that I appreciate you. I'm glad that I was able to work with you finally.
Yes, finally.
And hopefully we do it again.
Yes.
And I wish you much success in your business ventures. And just know that when the situation happened, I was mad.
Yeah. We'll talk about it off camera.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you for stopping by with us, and we'll talk to you later.
Thank you.
All right.
My name is Beat by Queet, and I'm with Convos with Cruger.